Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Friday, February 23rd, 2018.
Commissioner Garcia, James, Davis, and Jacinto are present. President James, we have a quorum. May we start with Bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning, Tim Tyson, Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning, Kimberly Fitzpatrick, Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning, Barry Bergren with Bureau of Sanitation.
Good morning, Shirley Lau, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President James, we did receive a speaker card under general public comment. We also received speaker cards on items number 2, 3, and 4. In addition to public comment cards on 4, we did receive emails that will be distributed to your commission this morning. And then for the Neighborhood Council commentary, we have no comments.
Well, we'll close the Neighborhood Council category of commentary. Dr. Campos, am I clear that the 30-year Service Recognition Award today, there's been a request by the Bureau of Engineering to postpone that?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. So we will postpone the presentation this morning. Let's go ahead and start with general public comment. Dr. Tom Williams, you have a card in on general public comment.
Good morning, Dr. Tom Williams, Sierra Club, Citizens Coalition, and a few others. Basics. We can't get information regarding curb cuts. I submitted a PRA, complied with all the
requirements. You say curb cuts?
Curb cuts for ADA compliance, wheelchair accessibility, and for seniors and a few others. Basic issue. I don't know what's going on. I haven't had a comment back for over a week. I have submitted intersections and things like that as to curb cuts. Now, okay, that's one. Next one, Bavan. I keep trying to access Bavan, but there's no public access to Bavan. So next week, we will do a PRA for all Bavan files from now till the end of 2018 or until there is public access in some manner to the Bavan files. That's the only way that we can find out what's going on, such as Mission Road widening, such as the Valley Soto, sorry, not Mission Road, but Soto widening, and for the Soto Valley Bridge widening. We don't know when it's coming because nobody ever tells the Neighborhood Council and or me or provides it on Bavan. So we'll go over till Monday, and if there's no access, public access, you can open the files and things like that, but if there's no public access, I will do a PRA for every bloody week of 2018 for all Bavan files. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. No other public comment speaker cards, so we'll close general public comment. Agenda item number 7 is a stop notice. R&D Mechanical Supply Company Incorporated transmitted a stop notice in the amount of $383,418.77 for furnishing pipeline materials to Mike Bubbalo Construction Company Incorporated in connection with the Machado Lake Pipeline Project. Is there a second to my motion that we receive agenda item number 7 forthwith? By Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 5, Council District 1, specifications submitted for board adoption and authorization to advertise for the invitation of bids in Council District 1 for the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority Confluence Plaza Interface Redesign Project. This is a rebid. The estimate $768,700. The bid receipt date April 4th, 2018. Is there a second to my motion that we adopt agenda item number 5 forthwith? By Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 6, specifications submitted for board adoption and authorization to advertise for the invitation of bids in Council District number 4 for the Riverside Drive Lighting Improvement Unit CIP STP Capital Improvement Project for Surface Transportation Program Street Lighting. The estimate's $1,196,300. The bid receipt date is April 11th, 2018. Is there a second to my motion that we adopt agenda item number 6 forthwith? By Commissioner Jacinto. Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 3, tree removal, Council District 2, 11580 Sunshine Terrace, recommending that the board certify that the board has reviewed and considered the information in the mitigated negative declaration for the project at 11580 Sunshine Terrace and find the information contained therein appropriately addresses the requested tree removals. Number 2, find that the project will not have significant environmental effect under the above described MND as the imposition of the mitigation measures described in the MND and incorporated herein as project conditions, and that there is no substantial evidence the proposed project will have a significant effect on the environment pursuant to the city's environmental guidelines, and that the proposed project is in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act. Number 3, find that the project's conflict with any local policies or ordinances protecting biological resources, such as tree preservation policies or ordinances, is less than significant, with the incorporation of mitigation measures 4-60, 470, and 480 as contained in the MND. Number 4, adopt the MND. Number 5, specify that the Bureau of Street Services Urban Forestry Division, located at 1149 South Broadway, is custodian of the documents or other material that constitute the record of proceedings upon which the board's decision is based. And number 6, approve the request for a fee tree removal permit for 3 California black walnut trees and 18 coast live oak trees. Tree replacements are required. This has been continued a number of times, and we have had public hearings on this a number of times. Because of that, Dr. Williams, you have placed a card in on number 3. So even though we've had public hearing, if you want to speak on number 3 for 1 minute, go ahead, sir.
For the Sunshine Terrace, one issue that has arisen is fire department compliance with the existing and proposed developments. In this particular area, we have a fuel modification problem. There's a lot of houses in there. They don't trim the trees. They don't trim the shrubbery. So there's a 100-foot setback and a 200-foot setback. How will you develop these trees within that context? There's a real issue there because everybody wants to keep their trees, but as we have seen over the last 6 months or so, keeping trees near your house can be a fatal, very damaging issue. So you're going to have this in Sunshine Terrace and along the entire north-facing slope of the Santa Monica Mountains.
1 minute.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Mr. Hall, you have a speaker card in that says only request to speak if continuance not granted. Come on up. I am inclined to recommend that we grant the continuance. What I would like you to do is to help our board by just putting on the public record the basis for the request for the continuance, because I think it'll be helpful.
So we've had several hearings on this particular project, and so what ultimately happened was the applicant decided to redesign the project, and we had a meeting with the applicant and their attorney, and 2 alternative designs were presented, and the residents are going to be meeting this weekend to vote on which design they prefer, and then we're going to come back. But the preview is that you're going to see a reduction from over 20 trees to just a handful that are going to be removed. So we'll report back, but everything is going in a very positive direction.
Excellent. How much time do you think the group needs to collectively come back and get this one resolved?
Well, the group is going to have a community meeting on Saturday to discuss this. And
I'm just wondering, do you want a 2-week continuance, a 3-week continuance?
I suggest 3 weeks only because I think the applicant might need to just to give them just a smidge more time so we don't have to do this again.
Okay, is any representative for the applicant here? Okay.
Mr.
I just was
President,
wondering about their date.
They are not here, however, they did submit a email request requesting to continue the item to Friday, March 16th, so that they can resolve the matter and agree with the opponents as well.
Is that okay with you?
That works.
Okay, then we have an agreed upon date. Great. So we'll do Friday, March 16th. Colleagues, is that okay? Okay, so thank you, Mr. Hall. So agenda item number 3, I'm sorry, wait, which which one am I on? 3, we will continue to Friday, March 16th. Great. Let's go to agenda item number 2. Council Districts 4 and 13, Memorandum of Agreement, Development of Master Plan for the Silver Lake Reservoir Complex, recommending that the board first authorize the Bureau of Engineering to perform the project management services necessary to complete the SLRC Master Plan update in the amount of $2,914,545. Number 2, delegate signature authority to the city engineer to execute the Memorandum of Agreement between the Department of Public Works, the Bureau of Engineering, and the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power for this work. Number 3, forward the report to the City Council for approval of the transfer of the funds from the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. And I've got 2 additions from the Bureau of Engineering under the recommendations. So number 4, so this would be as amended with what's in the agenda. Number 4, authorize the city engineer to accept the $2,914,545 from the LA Department of Water and Power to develop a master plan for the Silver Lake Reservoir as detailed in the Memorandum of Agreement. And number 5, authorize the Director of Accounting to appropriate up to $2,914,545, the number stayed the same the whole way through, to the Engineering Special Services Fund, Fund number 682, Department number 50, to a new appropriation unit entitled, quote, Silver Lake Reservoir Complex, close quote. So we have a couple of cards on this. Let's start with Cyril Charles from the Bureau of Engineering summarizing this. And do we have a representative from BOE? Okay. Come on up. We'll start with you, and then we'll go to our speakers. Mr. Hall, I've got a card in for you for number 2. Did you mean number 4? Okay. So we'll move your card to number 4. Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, my name is Cyril Charles. I'm with Bureau of Engineering, Bond Programs Division. And as you just mentioned, I'm here to present for the Silver Lake Master Plan, Reservoir Master Plan project. Besides me is, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Susan Rocani, DWP. I'm Director of Water Engineering and Technical Services.
Great. Thank you. Welcome both.
Yes. So DWP approached BOE to work with them on developing this master plan, a new master plan for this site. An initial master plan was completed in 2000. However, there's been a lot of changes that took place on the site. And the reservoir has also been decommissioned since that time. So any upgrades or recreational opportunities, etc., would require a revised master plan, an updated master plan. So that's what this request is for, to begin work on such a master plan. We already have, DWP has already assigned the MOA, the agreement, and we're hoping that once this gets done, that we can begin having meetings with the community and the various stakeholder groups to start work on this master plan and hire a consultant to bring on board by the end of August so that we can get going. So.
Okay. Commissioner Jacinto, we'll start with you.
Thank you, President
Is Ms.
James.
Weintraub still here? Oh, okay. Hi. Go ahead, Commissioner Jacinto.
Very good. Thank you. Cyril, thank you for this and for our DWP. Your first name again is?
Susan.
Susan, thank you for the trust and partnership and allowing our Bureau of Engineering to work together with DWP to update this important project. It's a regional project, and we do see City 13, Christine High back there. And the engagement with the community is so important because Silver Lake and the other Ivanhoe are iconic places for recreation that we've relied upon, and as we said, there's been many changes to it. So we're looking forward to the community engagement and that scope of work on behalf. And technically, we know we're going to be able to do whatever needs to be done, but it's the process of community engagement that's so important. And so let's do a good job there, and let's have a great project for that part of CD 13 and CD 4 as well. So thank you both.
Thank you. We have a couple of speakers on the item that I'd like to call up. Craig Collins has a card in. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Craig Collins. I'm the former president of Silver Lake Reservoirs Conservancy and one of the founding members of Silver Lake Forward. We're very excited to see this incredible, very important step moving ahead here. And one of the things that we've really all come to recognize is just that Silver Lake is at a watershed divide of several very important matters. It is an incredible scenic resource, recreational potential resource, and most importantly, in the water shortage that we're obviously going to be seeing for a long time to come, a very important future contributing to the sustainability of the city, especially with its water. So as we proceed with this master plan, we're going to be really looking very closely at how we can maximize the scope to increase that potential contribution so that it's not a drain on the city's water supply, but it actually contributes to it using all of the components that are available, ranging from stormwater to recycled water there and connectivity to the LA River. So these are potentials that are there. We're going to be looking at obviously a very extensive public process. We saw a very good model for this with the recent community charrette had happened over the G2 project, which is of course very similar in its potential and its scope. So we're moving forward with this. We really look forward to participating. We're very happy with our relationships with both BOE and the council districts and of course the LADWP. We are now looking, of course, literally at the incredible resource that it provides with the successful opening of the South Dam. It took a lot of people, a lot of work to make that happen. And if you haven't seen that, Commissioners, I highly urge you to see it. You'll see what we're really trying to accomplish here. And so thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, sir. We also have Catherine Generakis. You saw me, well, you saw me working on that because I should have it by now.
It's okay. It's totally understandable. Good morning.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. I'm just here again to echo what Craig said. I'm also one of the co-founders of Silver Lake Forward. I wanted to let the commission know that 3 of the community groups in Silver Lakes, the Silver Lake Reservoirs Conservancy, Silver Lake Forward, and Silver Lake Now, have all come together in support of this master plan. We want to commend DWP for allocating the funds to do this, and the Bureau of Engineering for accepting this incredible challenge and opportunity to really rethink this public asset for not only Silver Lake but for the broader Los Angeles community. Thanks to the leadership of our council members, in particular my council member Mitchell Farrell, who's been really incredible on moving this forward. I personally hope that we can make sure that the master plan encompasses the broadest possible set of possibilities for this incredible public space, including, hopefully making sure that the DWP can be as judicious as possible in terms of reserving the smallest space possible for its operations and its needs. But this has been a long time coming since we found out the reservoir was going to be decommissioned many years ago, so we're really excited to go forward. So thank you very much for your leadership. Thank you to DWP and all the folks in the room who've worked, to Susan and everybody, and the folks from BOE who've worked on this so hard. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Generakis. Yeah, a long time coming. Those were the words I was going to use. And I want to thank all of your work, the collective work and the collaboration, to echo Commissioner Jacinto, between LADWP and the Bureau of Engineering. And Ms. Peters, your office and your team as well. Thank you very much. Anything else? Is there a motion on this? By Commissioner Jacinto. I'll second it along with Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number, and the motion is as amended.
Thank you.
We'll adopt agenda item, fair enough, correct, Commissioner Jacinto? Okay. So seconded as amended. Any objection? Without objection, it'll be adopted as amended. Any issue sending it forthwith? We will send it forthwith accordingly. Ms. Weintraub, again, thank you as well for your assistance with this. Agenda item number 1. Council District 14, Bureau of Engineering Task order solicitation number 27F, as in Frank, 6th Street Viaduct Replacement Project, landscape package, recommending that the board authorize reallocation of $396,818 from the design support during construction contingency funding to the design phase, and secondly, authorize the city engineer to issue a revision of the task for solicitation number 27F to Tetra Tech, increasing the budget authority from $4 million to $4,480,000, so that's a $480,000 increase. For support services, Mr. Lamb, you will describe what we're doing here, but before you do, actually, no, go ahead. We don't have a card on number one. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Hi, good morning. My name is Gary Lamb from the Bureau of Engineering, 6th Street Viaduct Division. I'm the project manager for the park project underneath the viaduct. Okay, just to give you a little bit of background, back on January 9th of 2017, the board authorized task order solicitation number 27F with a budget authority of $4 million to Tetra Tech with a base contract of $3,315,000. I'm sorry, $3,315,553 and a contingency of $684,447. Now, this contingency is further broken down in our funding tables into a design contingency and a design support during construction contingency. The design contingency is $211,629, and the design support during construction contingency is $472,818. Now, just a brief scope of what the work that Tetra Tech is doing for us here on this project. They are providing design and design support to help us develop the 12-acre park underneath the bridge. And this 12-acre parkland is going to have a ton of park programming ranging from synthetic turf fields, multi-purpose fields, basketball courts, rain gardens, picnic areas, walking, jogging paths, and dog parks and restrooms, all right? And we're currently in 35% design, or 35% completion of design. And to date, we've issued $188,927 of extra services to Tetra Tech. Okay, so right now, what we're planning to do is we're going to plan to add an additional 2 extra services to Tetra Tech that will require the transfer of monies from the contingency table portion of design services during construction to the table portion for the design phase. So we're just basically going from, say, right hand to left hand of the table with the funding. And let me tell you about some of the extra services that's going to be required here. The first major one is the environmental documentation for the project. We originally envisioned the project as having a supplemental environmental impact report, which is basically under the umbrella of the environmental document under the 6th Street Viaduct. However, during the course of design, it became evident that in order to comply with CEQA, additional environmental analyses and approvals would be required to address the specific recreation, landscape, and parking components of the project. All right? And these components could result in additional measures to mitigate for impacts relating to lighting, traffic, and or noise. As a result of the new environmental impact report, a new environmental assessment must also be done, and we're going to be doing a lot of full technical studies as well. So all of this is going to be new requirements that's going to be added on, and we've reached out to Tetra Tech, and we are coming to an agreement of $205,391 for this portion of work. All right, the second component of the extra services is soil remediation on site. Approximately 6.5 acres of our 12-acre parklands is in need of some type of soil remediation. And the conditions on site are typical of what would be found in areas that have previous history uses of industrial and commercial manufacturing use. So this is not surprising, although it is necessary to clean up, especially for a new park. So we are planning to mitigate the soil to what we call residential standards. And in doing so, we're going to be in full compliance with state and federal regulations here. So the extra services that's going to be required for this portion include doing additional soil borings, a human health risk assessment, and coordination with our remediation oversight authority, which is going to be Los Angeles County Fire Department. All right, so Tetra Tech's proposal for this service is $116,847. The combined total of the two extra services that I just mentioned is $322,238. And we are, again, requesting that monies be moved over from the DSDC contingency funding table over to the design funding table. There is no increase to the contingency that we're asking right here. All right. Now, the second component of this board report has to do with the overall 6th Street Viaduct project, the overall delivery of the $482 million project. And this project is being delivered via the construction manager, general contractor, or CMGC for short, project delivery method. Okay, and this method is supposed to foster mutual benefit of the owner, the City of Los Angeles, and our contractor, Skanska, Stacy, and Whitbeck. It's supposed to help reduce change orders, reduce risk, improve constructability. However, this has not been the case on our construction contract. The relationship that SSW has taken has been adversarial. And so they've submitted over $16 million in construction change orders, sent over 150 various letters of correspondences and time impact analyses. Basically, all this is leading down the pathway of claims and potential litigation. And so in consultation with our city attorney, we believe that this is prudent to bring aboard the professional services of a claims consultant. So we've asked Tetra Tech to prepare a proposal, and we have negotiated a fee of $418,338 for the services. Additional funding for this service, it has been identified. And with that, we are requesting that the board approve the authority to increase the TOS ceiling from $4 million to $4,480,000. That concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Lamb, for your thorough report. Let me get to point 2 first. Recognizing that it's prudent, as our city attorney has either recommended or agreed, that we have this claims consultant come on board, I think that makes sense given where we are in the status of the project and the issues with some of the requested change orders and the results from the Bureau of Engineering. So I don't have any issue with that. What I would just ask for the oral record, really to be clear, is that the Bureau of Engineering is comfortable and satisfied with the personnel that will be utilized as the, in essence, our claims consultant. That's my first question. The second question, just a confirmation that the billing for the services of the claims consultant will be done on an hourly basis rather than a lump sum.
Okay. Thank you, President James. I have Julia Moye from the 6th Street Viaduct. She is the project manager, construction manager of the project. She'd be happy to assist with the questions.
Yes, absolutely. We're very pleased with the services that Tetra Tech has proposed. They've proposed us the services of Carl Lefro, who has been of service in the city for many claims and problematic problems on projects. Worked with us many years ago on large wastewater issues, and most recently to work towards settlement of the global sentiment on the Riverside Drive Viaduct issue, another bridge project in the city being overseen by Caltrans and FHWA. Very familiar with our specifications. And as Gary said, he will be on an as needed and a time and materials basis. So we'll charge accordingly based on the services we need moving forward on the project.
Great, thank you both for that. Commissioner Jacinto?
Thank you, President James, Gary, and Julia, since you're here too as well. You know, I'm I understand the first augmentation or the additional scope of work for the EIR. You know, the second part where there's additional, where we didn't include additional work that we're asking the consultant to do for the full investigation and of the soils. Seems to me it should have been in original because we knew what the usage was already. So it's a comment just to say it seems it should have been in the original scope of work as opposed to additional, given we knew what the site conditions were already. So that's all. Thank you, Gary.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Cinto. Anything further? Commissioner Cinto's made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 1, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Thank you both. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 1. Good luck to both of you on the project. This is such an exciting project for us. You know, we're disappointed to hear that we need potentially this claims coordinator, but hopefully that'll help us get over the hump, and we'll be continue to be onward towards what's going to be an incredible result for the city and the region, really. So thank you both for your work on it.
Thank you.
Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 1. Any issue sending number 1 forthwith? We will send number 1 forthwith. Before we go, number 4 has been continued a couple of times. We've had a couple of public hearings on it already, and we have an oral report that I'd like to get to first. We have our Small Business Academy progress update from the Bureau of Contract Administration, and before we take any, we try to get all of our voting items out of the way before oral reports, but the next one may take a little time, and I don't want to take up any more of people's time that are from outside the building. So, Angela Tubukan, welcome. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Angela Tumbukan from the Bureau of Contract Administration. I'm here to do the oral report for the Small Business Academy and update you on how we are helping support and develop the growth of small businesses. So we have successfully concluded our last class in the fall, and in 2017 we focused on non-construction services, personal services. We had students ranging from various fields, from information technology, accounting and appraisals, security, management, marketing, to consulting and human resource services. And we're really excited to report that one of our recent graduates signed a contract with the City of Los Angeles Public Library. I think the contract amount is about $500,000 plus her fees.
Excellent.
And she said that the invaluable inside view that she garnered from the Small Business Academy gave her confidence and the tools to know what to do and how to navigate the process of contracting. So today we have a couple of graduates, Crystal Z from Christology Professional Services Consulting Firm and Michael Chappelle from Peregrine Realty Partners, to talk to you about their experience with the Academy.
Excellent, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks again for having me, Angela. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here today. My name is Crystal Z. I'm a trained and licensed professional engineer in the state of California. I'm also a certified project management professional. I'm also a disabled veteran. My firm, Christology Consulting, has been serving the hydrogen refilling industry since 2014. Although most of our clients are state and federal agencies through sole source solicitations, I've learned a tremendous amount of useful information about the RFP process from the Small Business Academy. I've come to think of the Small Business Academy as an accelerated MBA course for the local small business owners. I really appreciate the level of detail and effort Angela, Hannah, and John have put into this program. You can tell from the structure of the classes, the content of the presentations, and the quality of the packed meals that this team of people really do care. I've gained a great deal of confidence from the insights the speakers shared and the connections I've made in the past 9 weeks that we will be able to win bigger and better projects in the near future. I look forward to building a sustainable business in the city of LA. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, thank you very much. And congratulations. And thank you for your service. Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As Angela said, my name is Michael Chappelle. I represent Peregrine Realty Partners. We provide valuation services for commercial real estate for all of the 4 major property types for dispositions, litigation, transactions, eminent domain, and tax work. Prior to taking part in LA in the Small Business Academy, I was aware that the city has a number of agencies that contract out for these services, but I really didn't have the information or the know-how to actually tap into this business. And the Academy plugged that gap for me. I was able to meet face-to-face with the decision makers for each of these agencies, and they actually walked us through, myself and the rest of my classmates, through this process of actually how to put together a bid, what needs to be in it, how to actually attain the information needed to perform, to our best. And, it was really invaluable. It's opened up a whole new line of business for me, and I'm really excited about it and excited about the opportunities moving forward. The Academy also gave me an opportunity to meet with other small-minded business individuals, and that process was actually just as invaluable because it gave me a chance to meet with people from different industries to actually learn the steps that are taken and needed to grow businesses and to thrive in the city of Los Angeles. So I'm really thankful. I want to publicly thank everyone who had a part in making this program possible, Angela and John and Hannah. I mean, this is really invaluable, and I hope moving forward that everybody's able to benefit as much as I did. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Reamer, I was going to ask you to stand up anyway, and here you are, and Hannah Choi.
Good
Welcome,
morning.
sir.
Good morning, board, city family, and all who are here today. This is a day where we're able to give thanks where thanks is certainly warranted, and we have to begin with our Mayor Garcetti. His words, inclusion, partnership, building relationships, having collaboration, that's what we've attempted to do with the Small Business Academy. And I was thinking this morning, what word really resonated with me with respect to what we've been able to accomplish in this last class, and the word is harmony. The thought of bringing different notes together to make a beautiful sound is what we wanted to do here. And this did not happen on our own. We did not want to create solo acts where people would leave and think that they could do this all by themselves, because we couldn't do this by ourselves. And we're here today with not pivotal, but very just, I would argue, we can't put a price to the value that we received in the relationships of those departments that were very involved in this process, beginning with the Port of Los Angeles. Tricia Carey is here, and Tanisha Hare, I asked you please stand. Valuable impact. I want to applaud and thank them for being part of this. The LA World Airports, and Anna Lim could not be here, but during our previous sessions and this last one, Aaron Henning was there with the airport, and we want to thank Lawa. And then, last but not least, the Department of Water and Power. I don't have words. I really, really don't. Their team was phenomenal, putting all of the infrastructure and nuts and bolts together. Karen's son is here. Karen, thank you very much. Aaron is now at DWP. And then the lady whose name we really don't need to mention because many know her, but Gwen Williams. Gwen Williams is a phenomenal presence, and her heart and soul has been in this process to all of these departments. Coupled with your support, we've been able to do this for 4 years. And It has been breathtaking and very influential, I would argue, for all of the graduates who've come through. What we've tried to do in the process of this collaboration, and again, seeking to harmonize the businesses, is match them with those larger firms that could assist them in helping them see what the world is going to look like and build the collaboration and the partnering and the relationships. And we have three that we brought before you today that we want to celebrate. We want to thank them in your presence for them going above and beyond and opening their doors for our graduates to come and hear and see what is needed and what it takes, if you will, to sing a song together. So the first prime that we have is Brown and Caldwell. And I want to ask Mark Demichelis, close? Nailed it, all right. And Katie Porter to please come forward. And they all say the same, but I just want to read. It says, with the utmost gratitude for their commitment to build and strengthen relationships with small businesses. Their continued support and encouragement to the LA Small Business Academy graduates is a testament to their resolve to provide a gateway to small business owners, leading to more contracting opportunities, signed by this board, presented on this day, February 23rd, a certificate of appreciation. We thank you so much for investing, if you will, and partnering and harmonizing with our small businesses. Thank you very much. Thank you. Glad to help. We have from Burns and McDonald, we have Jennifer Trotter and Renita Molman. Once again, the words are the same, but the sentiment is just as passionate and powerful. To Burns and McDonald, thank you so much for your investment and your partnering and harmonizing, if you will, with our small business and opening our doors for the opportunity for them to grow and become a part of something bigger and better. We greatly appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
And then lastly, from PCL, we have Joshua Mesa and Julio Vasquez. Thank you, gentlemen. Once again, we can't say enough about our partners. And again, our mayor has made it very loud and clear that he wants us to break down silos and bring in as many as we can. You have been loud and clear, and you're communicating that to us. This is our efforts. PCL has been there throughout the process to open their doors. We want to thank them, and we want to thank you for the opportunity to let us bring them before you today and to share and celebrate on this investment, if you will, and to go back to my word, the harmonizing with the small businesses so that we all make a beautiful sound together. Thank you very much, Commissioner James.
Thank you. Thank you all. And let me try and keep this as short as possible with a lot of people's time on this Friday that we're mindful of. But some thank yous and recognition that needs to go around. First of all, those of you that are supporting the project, please don't leave yet. We want to take some photos with each of you, and we'll do that quickly. We've got the four groups, the three groups just recognized, as well as the graduates that were represented today. John, to echo you on Mayor Garcetti's not just support, but frankly mandate on what we're doing, but that mandate comes with incredible support from the mayor's office that we need to be able to prioritize what we're doing here, which is just terrific. Thank you to yourself and to the Bureau of Contract Administration. Hannah and Angela, thank you for your collective efforts on this. Our Board of Public Works is thrilled to be a part of this. This is the best work that we get to do in many ways. Our partners at the Departments of Water and Power and Harbor and Airport, thank you all. It's been a great collaboration with you all really the entire time that we've been here, and we still know. I was in a breakfast, just a couple of days ago, I guess it was yesterday, with the Chief Development Officer from LAWA, and just listening to him, I realized that there's still a lot we can learn from each other, but especially what we can learn from all of you. To those of you that have sponsored and backed up this program, without you, we can't do it. Thank you so much. The recognition is very well deserved, and we really appreciate it. And I know my colleagues want to say some things as well, but let me conclude by thanking them. Commissioner Davis, your work, along with Commissioner Repenning on on our BAC, Commissioner Jacinto, you have always been a champion of this, dating back to the time when it wasn't that long ago, when our former colleague, now Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez, was here. This was something that she was very passionate about, that she worked very hard on, and we appreciate her leadership and work on it as well. And Commissioner Garcia, this is, on your second meeting, this is, as you can tell, something that we're just thrilled about, and we'll look forward to your work on it in addition. So with that, I'll go to Commissioner Davis.
I would like to thank our leader, our Inspector General, John Reamer, and Hannah Choi, and the entire team at the Bureau of Contract Administration for their leadership, along with, obviously, Gwen from DWP, and LAWA, and as well as the port. All of those of you from the city, this is what we call a project demonstrating excellence. When we look at the recent research that has been done, our prime contractors in the City of Los Angeles have expressed that they would like for us to do more to assist them in helping to identify minority subcontractors or potential subcontractors from where they can choose to get future work. And this is a project that does that. As President James has stated, the mayor's office is thoroughly behind this. And that means that, given all of that, that this is an area of growth. And even though perhaps we may not have the money now to grow, it is our hope that as we look at the budget, that we will invest in our areas of strength and help to expand the programs like this that would certainly be supportive of the mayor's goal to move in that direction, to make sure that we can do more of these, and it takes money. And we may not be able to do it this year, but we certainly know that this is an area that we need to grow and develop, and it's going to take some money. And so at budget time, we need to be talking more about the Small Business Academy. If we are to achieve the goals of inclusion, then we're going to have an infrastructure of training, and this program is the project demonstrating excellence where that can take place. And so we'll be able to support the goals and the milestones that the mayor has set for the city. And again, today, I want to commend you. I feel very good, as I'm sure my colleagues do, about the work that you have done. And as Commissioner James often says, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. We can see the great work that you are doing by the individuals who are graduates of the program who are before us today. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James, and Commissioner Davis. I'm going to be really brief too. Thank you for your words, your leadership, Commissioner Davis, and your support of budget time, because it always deals with the resources. To John, thank you, brother, for your leadership. Pastor, because whenever John speaks, I feel healed, and understand that the harmony that you speak of is also what we understand our mayor's back to basics. About interdependency and how we are dependent upon each other, to our bureaus and our departments, our proprietaries, for partnering and providing the infrastructure and resources to allow us to partner with you to do that. Thank you, along with Hannah and Angela. Great job on your presentation. To do these, the fourth iteration, and I think we feel a wave of larger and more diverse academies coming ahead of us too. And to our business owners, to Crystal and Michael, you are the testimony. Thank you for that. We need you to be ambassadors and go out and preach the good work and the progressive work that our city is doing, and it goes back to Mayor Garcetti's vision of a safe and prosperous city. And prosperous means everybody should prosper, whether you're a disabled veteran or you're a minority business. It's for everybody in the city for the future. And to be the world-class city, you need to take care of everybody. So I support Commissioner Repenning and Commissioner Davis's leadership on our Business Advisory Committee, and we look forward to expanding this academy to teach and heal more businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Garcia.
Hi, good morning. I just want to personally thank our business owners, the ones that opened the doors to the smaller business. I truly commend you for that. This is my second meeting, and I was really my heart got warmed by hearing that bigger companies open the door to smaller companies, and that's just the way to do it. I appreciate that, and I look forward to being part of this. I look forward to growing this. I look forward to putting it in other parts of the city as well, so that more of this harmony happens. So thank you. I just wanted to be brief and say that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. And I would be remiss to two things. One, the mayor's office, of course, our direct report in the mayor's office of city services, Barbara Romero and her team are very supportive of this and really keep us on track here. I want to thank them. And Commissioner Davis, you have something you want to mention since we're in this very special month.
African American Heritage Month, and I wanted to additionally, while they are here, to thank the Bureau of Contract Administration, because one of the programs that they do right now that is also ready to move is they do these meet and greets with prime contractors and potential subs and emerging businesses all over the city. And we can continue to do those all over the city, and we're ready to do them now. And I want to commend them because on Tuesday, they have one that will be at the Reef, which is a facility right off of Washington Boulevard, and it will be a matchmaking event. And again, this is another activity that helps our primes to help increase their numbers. And so not only are they out searching, we are generating activity that will help those potential individuals who are eligible, certified, and qualified to work to meet those individuals who make a decision to recruit and hire. So I thank the Bureau of Contract Administration, and I want those who are listening to know that Tuesday, February 27th, from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., we will have that matchmaking event at the Reef, and we urge all of those individuals in the city who are small businesses or emerging businesses, come and meet some of the prime contractors who today have job opportunities available to recruit and hire you. So again, Con Ed, thank you for such a great job to add to what you're doing today.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. So with that, we will take a very brief recess, and we'll come right back, and then we'll conclude with agenda item number 4, just for a couple of photographs with our graduates and and those that we've recognized as well. Yeah, yeah, it's great. Thank you, everyone, for your participation. Let's move to agenda item number 4. This has been continued a couple of times. Council District 4, tree removal, 2251 Nichols Canyon Road, recommending that the board's, 1, certify that the board has reviewed and considered the information in the addendum to the mitigated negative declaration for the project at 2251 Nichols Canyon Road, and find the information contained therein appropriately addresses the requested tree removals. 2, find that the project will not have a significant environmental effect under the above described addendum to the mitigated negative declaration, the case numbers in the agenda notice, as the imposition of the mitigation measures described in the addendum and incorporated herein as project conditions, and that there is no substantial evidence the proposed project will have a significant effect on the environment pursuant to the city's environmental quality guidelines and is in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act. Number 3, find that the project's conflict with any local policies or ordinances protecting biological resources, such as tree preservation policies or ordinances, is less than significant with the incorporation of mitigation measures 4-80 as contained in the addendum to the M&D. Number 4, adopt the addendum to the M&D. Number 5, specify that the Bureau of Street Services Urban Forestry Division, located at 1149 South Broadway, is the custodian of the documents or other material that constitute the record of proceedings upon which the board's decision is based. And number 6, approve the request for a fee tree removal permit for 1 Southern California walnut tree, 2 Western sycamore trees, and 4 California bay laurel trees due to new home construction and required grading. I've got Dr. Williams, before you start, let me just ask Mr. Tyson a quick question. Mr. Tyson, you know, as many times and as many hundreds of hearings we've had on tree removals, which of these, am I right that just the Southern California walnut is the protected tree?
No.
Okay, what else have we got?
We have the 2 sycamore trees.
Oh, the Western sycamores are.
2 Western sycamores and the laurel bays.
The laurel bays are...
You don't see them very often.
Okay, we just don't see them very often.
They're one of the
Okay.
5.
So the California walnut, I'm always, okay. So all of these are protected trees?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, now that we're clear. Dr. Williams, I could have asked you that question. Go ahead, sir, you're on number 4. We see so many species, sometimes the list
Just
escapes.
saying, a comment regarding that ecology.
Regarding what?
When you have a sycamore and a bay,
Yeah.
it's a question as to, that's a unique riparian habitat because the 6 don't like dry ground. Walnuts will do quite well on slopes, but not down in the water. 6 and bays do very well in wet ground. And since this is, Dr. Tom Williams, Sierra Club Water Committee, but also a matter that we're quite interested in all of Nichols Canyon because it does not comply with fire department clearance requirements for the road itself, which is a street issue, and it has a lot of vegetation well within the 100 or 200 foot fuel modification requirement of the Board of Fire Commissioners. So in 2 weeks, if this one is approved, which I assume, we will be taking it to the fire commissioners and for the entire canyon as to it is not in compliance with fire prevention rules right now. Question, if the Board of Public Works approves planting within the 10 foot of a street, will that be compliant? If it's not compliant, will it put the board or the city into a responsibility position for any future fire damages in Nichols Canyon? So we're looking at not only this project, but all the other projects along Nichols as to are they in compliance with the fuel modification requirements of the city of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have a card in from Mr. Hall, transferred from agenda item number 2, and Jordan Shalom, who's the owner of the property. Mr. Tyson, why don't you bring us current? And before you get to your summary, was there an issue on this one with the width of the road that we needed clarification on?
Yes, President James, these were the issues. The size of the homes in the area compared to this development here, road width of 20-foot half roadway, and the hydrology for the stream bed that's in front of the property.
What was the result on the road width?
Well, I provided the executive officer with some handouts to you there.
I got it.
Yes, and I've also provided those to Mr. Hall this morning. And you can see that the applicant has got a bond estimate for the hillside ordinance to widen the road to 20-foot half roadway. That's also provided. It would be behind that first page. It shows that he's paid all the improvement performance bond and 1,120 square feet of asphalt pavement and 420 linear feet of asphalt curb, all these different things that he has to do to come into compliance with that ordinance.
Okay, go ahead.
Also,
Now, I'll quit interrupting you now. Go ahead. It's all yours.
okay, I'm sorry. Did you want to say something? Oh, okay. Also,
done interrupting you
on
now. You go ahead, it's all yours.
floor to area ratio, I provided you with the 2100 to the 2300 block of Nichols Canyon. And I'd like to remind the board that this home is a basement with a 2-story. So the actual imprint of the first floor is only 2,745 feet. And if you go to 2280 Nichols Canyon, they've got a 5,000 square foot imprint. You go to 2256 Nichols Canyon, they've got a 5,700 imprint. And most of the other ones are at 1,800 or 2,000. So it's within between the smallest to the largest and not the largest. Also, with the hydrology, I provided you with the building and safety permission to work in the stream bed with hand excavation, and the fact that the city planner wrote back and said that the study was done for the hydrology. And then I'll bring you up to date on one other thing that we talked about was the sycamore trees having now been hit with polyphagous shot hole borer, which we went back out and inspected. Unfortunately, one of the trees that's not to be removed has the shot hole borer. So there's 3 sycamores, 2 of which were slotted for removal, 1 of which has hits from the shot hole borer, 1 does not, and 1 tree that was going to remain protected in place does. So just to bring you up to date, I'll do a quick rendition here. Nichols Development owners proposing to construct a new 8,183 square feet single-family residence at 2251 Nichols Canyon Road. The subject property is located on a hillside lot that slopes up from a ravine that includes a year-round spring-fed creek. The proposed residence will have a footprint of approximately 2,745 square feet with a residential floor area, which is called our FAR, floor to area ratio, of 11.9% on a parcel measuring 22,898 square feet. Mr. Payan, property owner representative, contacted the Bureau of Street Services regarding the proposed development. The Bureau informed the applicant to obtain the services of a Los Angeles Municipal Code defined tree expert to evaluate the project's impacts to the site's native protected trees. In response to Mr. Payan's inquiry, Mr. Payan was directed to obtain services of a Los Angeles Municipal Code defined tree expert to evaluate the subject trees. The applicant acquired the services of Ms. Lisa Smith, who was here at our last meeting. Mrs. Smith prepared the protected tree report in response to the request. Mrs. Smith's report indicates the property contains 11 native protected trees comprised of 3 Southern California black walnut trees, 3 western sycamore trees, and 5 California bay laurel trees. The trees are in fair health and range in size from 5 inches to 36 inches in diameter by approximately 18 to 60 feet in height. 7 of the 11 protected trees on the property will be severely impacted by the project's construction and grading requirements. A Bureau arborist inspected the location on September 21st, 2016, and found the trees and the property condition are as stated in the PTR, the Protected Tree Report. The Bureau agrees reasonable development of the property requires the removal of the 7 trees numbered 1, 3, 5, and 7 through 10. And that kind of brings it up. They would need to build a bridge over the creek down below to get up to where the pad for the home will be built. And the trees aren't in, when the tree report was written, they had not been hit by shot hole borer. Now they have been, which also the shot hole.
Say that again, what?
When the tree report was first written, it wasn't noted that the trees had shot hole borer. It wasn't until after we had gone out to take a look at them and then went out again. It happened in between the first time it was looked at that they were hit by shot hole borer. That's an insect.
Yes, but is that a determination that the Bureau of Street Services Urban Forestry Division's made?
No, the determination was made and we went out to, it was made after the tree report was written because
But did you, but I'm just trying to find.
we inspected to double check.
You confirmed it?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't have
Absolutely.
competing.
No, we went
I
out.
at least got you confirming it.
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
And so, just to remind the board that the shot hole borer is a very invasive insect, and it has like 50 host trees, which the oak trees are also part of that host of this insect. So the sooner we can get the infected trees out up there, the better for all, because there's sycamore trees that are on the neighboring properties as well as everywhere else.
Okay. Mr. Hall, can you do your presentation since this is our third hearing? How much time do you need? I'm going to see if you and I are on the same number. I'm thinking of a number. What have you got?
4 minutes.
I was going to say 5, so you have 5.
Okay. First, I'd like to let you know that we are requesting a continuance of this matter. We have hired the residents a arborist, Carl Mellinger, and an entomologist, which is a person who specializes in insects, and that's Dr. Jeremiah George. And we have asked the applicant for the opportunity to have both of our experts to go do an independent third-party review to determine whether or not there is an insect infestation. Unfortunately, that was unable to be scheduled prior to the hearing today. The applicant has asked that our experts attend on site with his arborist, and the first available date that they were available to meet was actually today at 9 o'clock. So what we do know is that reasonable people, even experts, can come to different conclusions with regard to these issues. And we think that it is the responsible thing to do to allow the residents, experts too, to do their third-party review and come back to the board and report. And the other thing, a couple other procedural issues here, there's still some major CEQA problems with regard to this project. With regard to hydrology, I mean, this project is located on a year-round spring. And yet the MND still says, when it comes to potentially significant environmental effects, the hydrology box is not checked. And yet there was a hydrology report done. They referred it out to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. CEQA doesn't work that way. You have to check the box because clearly there may be a potentially significant effect associated, and then you have to come to a conclusion after analysis. And so there's some major problems here with regard to hydrology, and I would let you know that I was down at the site and I saw another construction project down the street where literally there was construction debris falling into the creek itself. So what Army Corps of Engineers does and what the city does often gets down to the minutia of how you build the bridge, etc. It doesn't necessarily have the mitigation measures in terms of making sure that there's no material that gets into the creek during the short-term construction-related impacts. And with regard to biological resources, the Conservancy, the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, has written a letter. They're clearly the expert when it comes to the Santa Monica Mountains. The legislature has empowered them with the authority to be the protector of the Santa Monica Mountains. And they are very concerned, as are the residents, with regard to the biological resource impacts. If you look at the M&D, and the problem with the M&D, and what we're trying to urge the city to do, is to think about things beyond trees and beyond nesting birds. So the M&D's mitigation measures simply says, well, replace the trees and make sure you don't cut them down during nesting season. And that was it. That's the mitigation measures. But we know that there are other animals that call this area home. It's in a mapped habitat linkage zone. And the biological resources inventory that the applicant actually did does not come to a conclusion necessarily in terms of mitigation measures. It actually lists a whole bunch of potential biological resources associated with the site. Again, the trees are the thing that provides the habitat for the animals, and the Conservancy, as are the residents, were definitely concerned about the impacts to wildlife movement. And the M&D really needs to analyze how to maintain adequate habitat connectivity. And I would also let you know the Conservancy specifically said in their letter that this property is the most ecologically significant habitat on Lower Nichols Canyon, based on riparian canopy width and integration with upland habitat. The thing here is that there are two habitat linkage zones, number 44 and number 42, and this property is where they connect. And so the animals are getting from one habitat linkage zone to another. And the responsible thing to do, and the thing that the city actually is required to do, there's a duty to mitigate impacts that are reasonably foreseeable, is to ensure that there's not going to be any obstructions. And that might involve ensuring that there's a no fencing requirement as a mitigation measure, making sure there's adequate setbacks. These are common mitigation measures with regard to dealing with wildlife movement issues. And so we think that that needs to be considered in the M&D. And with regard to the street width, I would just remind the board that there were two sections of the road that are less than 20 feet. So they may have decided to widen in front of their project site, but it's still less than 20 feet at 2145 Nichols Canyon Road. And the other thing about the size of the home, I'm just going to very respectfully tell you that the difference between 2,000 square feet, which is what the was presented earlier, and 8,000, I'll just wrap up, is what many people call cheater basements. They're talking about a 6,000 square foot basement. I think it's irresponsible for us to not think about that when it comes to reasonable development. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Any questions before we go to the owner? Before we go to the owner, real quick, Mr. Tyson, a couple of things. I'm going back to the insect.
Yes.
Yeah. What's the name of the insect?
Polyphagus shot-hole borer.
Yeah, that. There's Mr. Hall, if I understood him correctly, references wanting, and this isn't a question for you as much as it's a statement from me. Before I make the statement, though, I've got the question for you. I think you answered me a minute ago. The Bureau has itself gone and made a determination regarding this insect on the subject trees, correct?
That's correct. We have photos, and I sent one of my best inspectors up to go make sure to verify that what was being told to us, because when the first report was written, the Laurel Bay trees were missed, so there had to be an addendum written for the tree report to add the Laurel Bays. It changed the addendum to the mitigated negative declaration, and when she did that, she went up, she saw the polyphagus shot-hole borer hits, and I remind you, there's 3 sycamores on the property, 2 of which are being asked to be removed, and the one tree that was going to remain is one of the trees that has the shot-hole borer and one that was going to be removed. The third tree that was going to be removed didn't have any signs. So 2 of the trees have signs of hits from polyphagus shot-hole borer.
Okay, and that's something that the Bureau has confirmed?
Correct.
All right. Thank you, sir. Before we go to the owner, I do want to say this. With all due respect to Mr. Hall's offer of what he termed a third-party independent analysis, it would be a third-party independent analysis hired by them. My third-party independent analysis is standing in front of me with the Bureau of Street Services. For this issue at least, that's where I come down. Thank you, sir. Mr. Shalom? Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you again. I wish it wasn't so soon. But since we've been here last, we've had a line of communication open with the residents, and instead of trying to build a constructive solution, we ended up playing email tag for 3 weeks. Like I've presented the council today with our copies of our correspondence. And at this point, it just seems like every day they're adding a new set of concerns that's not specifically defined in any guidelines. And we'd just like to reiterate that we've gone above and beyond and complied with every single thing asked of us. And for this to all come down to a last-minute hurdling of documents and aggressive letters at us is just kind of unforeseeable, and we don't have a way to respond to it.
Would you provide a summary of what has been asked of you that you have responded to, or that you have acquiesced to, or whatever?
Well, we haven't necessarily acquiesced to anything because nothing has been required of us. But with regards to contacting the Army Corps of Engineers, the California Board of Fish and Wildlife, LADBS, different sections of Public Works, Urban Forestry, producing the hydrology, biology reports that we've produced, producing BMPs that we're going to engage in upon the start of construction. We've provided all of these documents. They've been submitted to you guys over 3 weeks ago, and I gave them a courtesy copy. So at this point, I don't know what else we can really provide. I know that they'd like to touch on the point of unreasonable development, but as was previously stated, the house fits pretty nicely into the neighborhood. And as he mentioned, it uses approximately 12% of the actual property area to construct the home. So we're being very generous in building around the beauty that is Nichols Canyon and letting the home encapsulate that. And we have actually already altered our designs, as we talked about last time, to save more trees. So.
What is the issue, the 6,000 square foot basement? Is there a 6,000 square foot basement plus the 2,000 additional square feet that Mr. Tyson referenced?
Yeah, it's not exactly 6,000 square feet. He'd like to use the term cheater basement to kind of make it seem bigger than it is. But essentially, the home is going to sit on the 2,700 square foot footprint, and the basement will be a little bit larger, but not reach the feet of 6,000.
So what's it, you have an idea, right?
I can't say off the top of my head.
Do you have a ballpark?
No.
Is it more than 4,000?
Maybe. I got to go look at the plan.
Go ahead, Commissioner Davis.
Is there some policy and codes of the city that there's a limit to basements that individuals can build?
No.
There is no such code?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. You have an architect that's drawing the plans for this, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, if I just made pardon my French.
No, I'm not asking you to do that.
No.
I'm not asking you to do that.
So.
You have an architect.
Yes.
You have an architect that has drawn.
There is an architect who has drawn all the plans. They are in the final stage of plan check, and they're being confirmed with the city, the department.
And the basement to the home, because I guess there are several homes that have basements. The basement to the home, the potential usage or purpose of the basement is for entertainment.
Yeah, it's not a residential space per se. There won't be permanent bedrooms in there.
Right.
So.
And it really doesn't matter what it is used for, because you are the person that's going to be your home, and I'm not trying to design anybody's home. I'm just trying to, as a commissioner, better understand what the intent that you have chosen is, and what the choice is that your architect has made in his proposal for the basement.
Yeah, to touch on that, when we started this process almost 4 years ago with the architect, we looked at this piece of land and said, how can we best use it for our own gain and keep the surrounding, because it's beautiful. I mean, I want to live in a home and look outside and see all of the nature.
I'm trying to figure out the issue as it relates to the basement, and is there some potential adverse impact on the basement, and if so, what that would be? Or
not that I'm aware of, and not in the studies that we've produced that have been in correspondence with our architect and planning. So.
Okay, do the other homes, to your knowledge, not have a basement, or?
No, there are basements on Nichols Canyon.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. Mr. Shalom, you said that you, since the last meeting, that you redesigned your project?
No. I said, as you remember, in the last meeting, we provided the images of our original plan for the house that would have had more trees be removed. And since then, we have redesigned it to mitigate the impact that we would have.
Okay, thank you.
So here's kind of what I see right now. Mr. Hall, you can just tell me from where you are. Oh, there you are. Hi. How much time in a continuance I'm not inclined to go there, but I would like to know how much time, we may have to, but how much time were you going to ask for? Okay. And that was for the tree insect issue?
Yes, and then ultimately the board will have to make a decision about the other.
Okay. So, let me tell you what I'm thinking here. Mr. Shalom, if I saw something, I think I saw something in your communication. There's been a lot of stuff on this one. Did you say, are you up against deadlines, permit deadlines?
Yes.
Yeah, end of the month? Although I just heard you say you were submitting some architectural.
Yeah, so the end of March is what I should have written, but yes.
Okay. And what else is being submitted that you just referenced in your discussion with Commissioner Davis? Architectural plans or?
Yeah, there was a slight modification to the architectural plans that had to be submitted to a plan check.
And has that been submitted?
Yeah.
Okay, it's already been submitted.
It's been submitted, and we're going to have a meeting again on Wednesday.
Okay.
To discuss it.
Mr. Jordan, thank you, sir. You can have a seat. Mr. Jordan, is the basement issue and the size of the basement issue, how is that the Department of Public Works? It seems to me that's the Department of Planning.
As to the construction, yes, that's really more of within the building and safety and planning world. The board's approval for the removal of protected tree, one of the criteria in the ordinance is if the tree prevents the reasonable development of the property. So it is kind of wrapped up somewhat in that, but if the basement and the structure has otherwise been approved by the planning department, if they're not seeking any kind of variances to have the basement of that size, I think that does also go towards whether that would constitute reasonable development of the property.
Well, Mr. Hall and I have worked on a lot of these issues over the last couple of years, maybe longer, and I've always tried to stay away from this issue of what is reasonable development, because I feel like if we collectively can find a solution without that, I like to do that. It's just cleaner if we ever end up in court, and fortunately we've been able to avoid ending up in court. I don't know if we can avoid that here. I don't see I realize, colleagues, you may completely feel differently, of course, and we'll find out, but I don't see an avenue warranting another 30-day continuance. I haven't heard it. What concerns me about the tree issue is that, Mr. Tyson, could I have you back at the podium for a second? Of the trees that are on our agenda today, how many of them are insect-ridden?
One.
One is insect-ridden.
That is slotted to be, for
the removal.
Right. One of them that's to stay there is also infected.
Say what?
One of the trees that's supposed to be retained on the property that's not to be removed
is also insect-ridden.
Yes, infected.
I mean, I would recommend, and if it is, it has the danger of infecting other trees in the area, including neighboring properties?
That's an absolute yes. If it's an amplifier tree, one of the first in the area to be hit by the polyphagus shot-hole borers, once it goes in, then it amplifies out once they hatch and they come out, and they just, everywhere they will go.
So, I mean, which tree is the one on the list that is infected? Is it the black walnut? Is it the,
No, it's the one sycamore tree that's down.
one of the two western sycamores?
Right, it's right down by the creek.
All right.
I'll tell you what number it is.
So that one, I mean, if there were more of them, I would grant the permit instantly, just based on the diseased trees. That was my easy out here. I don't have an easy out here, though, because I've only got one diseased tree out of this list, although I would take the other diseased tree out, too.
That's correct. We would have to give them a permit to remove the other tree. If they came to me and said they had this tree and we went out and we inspected and we confirmed it had polyphago shot whole borer, we would issue a permit on an emergency basis.
Yeah, got it. But the other trees that are not diseased, this really comes down to the fact that Mr. Hall, can I ask you a couple more questions? I'm trying to find a way to resolve this. I feel like I'm at a position right now where I'm trying to figure out which position do I want in court. Would I rather be defending the permit, or would I rather be defending the denial of a permit? And to avoid having to make that decision right here, I'm going to ask you this question. Can you, because the owner has told us that he's got until the end of March, what are the, if it's going to be futile for you guys to continue to communicate for the next couple of weeks, then why go through an exercise in futility? But if you've got, what are the other issues besides the disease? Because I would tell you to save your money on your third-party analysis on the dead tree or the diseased tree. I'm going to go with the Bureau on that one. But on the others issues, what are the other issues that you think might be workable so that we can stay out of court?
Well, every time that we resolve these things, it's because there's compromise. And there's some concessions, and the applicant said that he made no I forget the word he used, but
I said acquiescence.
Yes.
He agreed.
And that's exactly what's happened. He's been basically saying, no,
He hasn't.
I haven't. And so what we would want to do to resolve this, and I think you should just ask the applicant if he wants to do this. If he was able to increase the backyard setback, the back setback, he could save those laurel trees. He could. That would have an impact on the overall size of his home.
And you wouldn't challenge our granting of the removal of the one that the Bureau of Street Services says has disease?
I would have to speak to my client, but I couldn't counsel them to do so because that wouldn't make sense. And the other thing that we would want out of this is a potential conservation easement or a deed restriction to the Conservancy to allow the animals to continue to access the waterway, and to ensure that there's a no fencing requirement in the side yard, and that we want to make sure that the retaining walls are not too high. These are basic wildlife movement mitigation measures. So we want more trees saved, which will involve some compromise, and also some mitigation measures to ensure that this the stream can still be accessed by the wildlife.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Shalom? My goal here is to try and get you resolution before your permits run out. And we've got and I'm inclined right now to grant the permit on the tree that the Bureau of Street Services says has the insect. And I think we ought to permit the other one too, for the good of the rest of the canopy in the area. Regarding the others, which is the majority of the trees, are you willing to consider that, I think the term backyard was used, a backyard adjustment to try and save those trees in a way that keeps your project intact for what you want to do?
Yeah, so that was our original plan, but it's not feasible to build the home because of the slope of the hillside and the way that the property is situated. So while we gave that thought at the beginning, it's not something that we can commit to now because it makes the entire project completely unfeasible. But the other mitigation measures that Mr. Hall mentioned, such as the lack of side fencing, allowing access to the stream for the animals, these are things that we will agree to. And like I'd say that, and I said that from the beginning. We're just not going to agree to go completely redesign our house after 4 years of already designing it.
Okay, so what you're telling me then is you would, the retaining wall issue for the wildlife habitat, the no fencing issue to provide access to the stream, those are things that you would agree on.
Well, not the retaining wall, but
What's the retaining wall?
what I just mentioned. Because of the way the house is situated, they want us to build a shorter retaining wall, which would ultimately
Oh, but
reduce the size
you're
of the
saying the
house.
shorter retaining wall, the house wouldn't be stable.
No, it's not feasible.
Okay.
But the no side fencing and access to stream measures are something we'll totally adopt and have been open to adopting from the beginning.
What about the deed issue to the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy?
I can't speak on that without talking to my lawyer first.
Okay, understood. I think, here's what I'd like to do. Hey, Tim, thank you, sir. Mr. Shalom, thank you, sir.
I have on the map.
Yeah, who's the, sorry to take all your time, colleagues, here on this. Who's your, you got a contact at planning that you're working with on this? Or you want to talk to me offline about it?
I'm sorry?
Let me tell you what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
I'm inclined, based on what I've heard, because there is some acquiescence to what Mr. Hall mentioned by Mr. Shalom just now standing in front of us. It may not be, it's not going to solve the tree issue per se, but there may be some things that are worth them continuing to be in communication for the next 10 days. So I think it might be worth a continuance without another hearing, but Mr. Shalom mentioned a moment ago that other than this plan check that he's got submitted for revisions to the architectural documents that he's got in, he has everything he needs essentially to move forward other than this, correct? Is that based, does your file indicate that that's accurate?
I would have to double check, but that's, I think so. He's all set to go. He's just waiting for the permits to be issued.
Mr. Jordan, is your review of that consistent, of what you've seen consistent with what Mr. Tyson just said?
It's hard for me to say as to the timing elements of that.
Okay. Then 2 weeks from today is what? It's still March.
That puts us on, it puts us to Friday, March 9th.
Friday, March 9th. Okay. This is going to be my suggestion. Friday, March 9th is 2 weeks. It is still, Mr. Shalom, 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks before your, actually it's 3 weeks before your permits would expire. It gives your side and Mr. Hall's side the ability to try and work out things that are potentially workable and then to come back and tell us what is not workable. I will tell you right now, and we have 4 of us and not 5 of us. Who knows what we would do if we were to vote, but I'm going to do my best to avoid it today. But I'm going to put on the table what I'm thinking to try and help move the project, move the discussions along. I think that there ought to be a compromise here. While I think that I would be forced, if I had to decide today, I would probably be forced into defending the issuance of the permit. But I think that if we went to court, there's a significant chance that we would lose this. And when I say significant, I mean more likely than not. It's not 70%, it's probably 55%. That said, you say, well, then how could you say that you would prefer to be defending the permit? Because I believe, based on what I've seen so far, that the developer has met the city process satisfactorily up to now in the other departments. And for that reason, I feel like our board in this process, that this process oversteps our jurisdiction and authority a little bit, and it makes me uncomfortable. And that's why I feel like we probably ought to defend the issuance of the permit. But that's not what's happening today. We're going to continue this 2 weeks without objection from our colleagues, because I don't want to be in court and then having issued the permit and then lose it because Mr. Hall comes in with what look like legitimate environmental issues. Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. I just would ask clarification on what is our expectation for the next 2 weeks that we would.
Fair enough, thank you. What I would expect for the next 2 weeks, we've already heard from Mr. Shalom about his willingness to agree on a fence issue and an access issue. He's going to talk to his lawyer about a deed issue that Mr. Hall put on the table. So we have some movement, maybe even agreement there. Mr. Shalom has an opportunity to have his project move forward if the other side isn't going to challenge it in court. And I think that incentivizes him in the next 2 weeks to work with Mr. Hall's clients. On the other hand, Mr. Hall's clients, I think, should have incentive to not do emails back and forth, but to actually meet in substance. And I'm not blaming either side. That is just what Mr. Shalom said, but it may be both sides. But the incentive for the neighbors to get together on this is the fact that if I were having to make this decision today, I would be trying to argue in favor of defending this permit. And so that's why I think both sides ought to get together and relieve us of this.
Thank you for that. I support your clarification of that, sir.
Yeah, I support it too, with the goal that our job is to all of us, not only just those of us in the commission, is to resolve this so that we can be city and we can be community. And so obviously somebody wants to build a house. There are rules and laws involving the environment. We want to adhere to those. And yet we also want to the extent that we can, respond to the right for people to have a property and be our neighbor. So I support your effort to work together.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Garcia.
I support your efforts too. I just want to see if there's a way that we, especially me because I'm new to this, if I can get a planning report or the planning plans to the design of the home and how it looks. I know that they're there. So if there's a way that I can get that, is that possible?
Sure. What we'll do is we'll have Mr. Tyson brief you from the Bureau, and he will bring to the briefing anybody that needs to answer your questions.
Perfect. I would want to see the design of the home and
I got the whole package.
Perfect. Thank you.
We have quite a file on it. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. Then that'll be the order. That 2 weeks from today is March 9th, correct?
Yes, that's
okay.
correct.
So agenda item number 4 will be continued to Friday, March 9th. I don't think we have any other speaker cards on. Did you have a card in on number? You spoke on number 4, Dr. Williams. All right. So other than the approval of the minutes, is there a second to my motion that we approve the meeting minutes from the meeting of Friday, February 2, 2018? Second. By Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, those meeting minutes are approved. Dr. Campos, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, you have.
Okay, then we are adjourned this Friday morning. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice weekend.